Hi there, FN2188 here, and I'm going to be doing a do's and don'ts for out-of-box Black Series collectors. Right in front of you is nothing special. This is just a little display for something, for you guys to look at. As I just rant about some random stuff related to what you should do, what you shouldn't do, just 5 general do's and don'ts if you're going to be an out-box collector for especially the Black Series line. First thing coming up is you do want to pre-order any figure that you see up on Hasbro Pulse or any other site, especially if you think that this is a figure you really want, or if you believe that the figure is going to sell like hotcakes on the second market. For the don't, you don't want to wait. Especially because you are going to be charged more for somebody else's pre-order secondhand. People will be selling them for $10 to $15 more, unless you just really want to sit it out, or if you just really don't think it's a figure for you. Of course, regret is something that always comes later, but it's definitely worth pre-ordering the second you are given the chance, if possible. Evened out the camera just a bit. For number 2, you want to make a mental list. A list of like what your priorities are, what figure you're saving up for, what figure you are planning to buy next, and which one's coming after that. It's definitely a useful habit to have, knowing what your priorities are, what you need for this spot, what you need for that spot. Do I need more of this? Do I need more of that? Like a shopping list in a way, as to what your priorities are. And for don't, you don't want to overspend. You just want to keep a note as to what figure you want, but you don't want to jump on any listing or any secondhand price you see, because sometimes you're like, oh, I should have bought this. Well, at least you got this for cheaper, So collectors run into that sort of issue a lot. I do as well, where you kind of be like, I should have canceled this because I found a better listing. It just happens like that sometimes. So number 3 is going to be a controversial one. If you are really a big fan of a character and like this figure of the character is really expensive, I might recommend getting a knockoff. I know a lot of people are going to be upset about this, but in terms of quality, especially with, I'll just give you guys an example. This is one I picked up a long time ago. This is the knockoff Darth Maul. Like, it's not bad. From far away, you probably couldn't even tell that's a knockoff. It looks more like the orange line than it does the Archive, the AliExpress clone troopers. Those are definitely good for filling up spots on the shelf. I know a lot of bigger collectors do that because it's a lot more inexpensive to buy them if you just want them to take up a little bit more space. As in the don't, you don't want to accidentally buy a knockoff. If a price is too good to be true, it definitely is. There's definitely going to be a flaw with the figure. There is definitely going to be some sort of gimmick. If you see a Darth Maul for $20 and you want an official Darth Maul, do not get it, because it is likely going to be the knockoff, unless you're 100% certain it is not. And number 4 is going to be about displaying. The do for this is going to be invest in some sort of little things to put around your shelf. It could be 3D prints made by custom creators or anything like that. Those definitely spice up the shelf just a bit. An example of this, I just pulled this out of random. This is the Mystery Minis Yoda, but as you can tell, it's too cartoony to be realistic. So I threw it in the background of my Clone Wars display, but it's also scale accurate to a degree. Just little things like that, depending on who you are. It's a very subjective thing. I definitely recommend doing that, getting customs, all that stuff. If you are looking for one thing and you don't know where it is, it's because everything is just all mix-mashed and all that. Just make sure you're organized. All of like the parts are like put like into like a drawer or something like that. Baggies always work. So if you're starting with like an out-of-box collection, just make sure either you keep all the accessories you're not using in their boxes and tuck those away somewhere, or you just have them in little plastic baggies or a drawer like I have. Lastly, number 5. I'll treat it more as a hobby. The thing with collecting figures, sometimes there are phases. Sometimes you are interested in a line and then you get satisfied. And then you just kind of have all the figures, and then you kind of look back and you're like, did I really need this? The thing is, if you're not in for the long run, I definitely don't suggest just branching out incredibly, unless you know like you could probably just have the space for them. So So just know that you have the space. This is like by far not some sort of investment, which is your do not treat it like an investment if you're an out-of-box displayer, because one thing, they can get damaged. Figures definitely do get damaged, especially when out of box. Thing with these figures, as a good point made by another channel, Nerdzoic, I'll link his video down below. He states that what if Hasbro just re-releases them, which is always a possibility. So just make sure if there's one figure that you kind of have the feeling is going to be re-released, yeah, it's like $80 to $100, just kind of wait on it. Please, for the sake of your wallet. And one last tip that doesn't really have a do not would be just watch reviews before getting a figure. Just get people's honest opinions on the figure out of box. I hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next time. Peace.